Okay, hello. Here's like a vlog about my case and me. Sorry I've been so lazy, haven't been doing it earlier. I'm gonna start doing it more because I've been like really drilled into my website, but it's looking pretty cool, man. Somebody even gave me $10. I haven't gotten a chance to update my website on it, but yeah, look at my donation page. You can give money. There's lots of openings in the hundred people in the royal court to get your name on the list. Anyway, so this video is update about my case. So I went in on last Thursday to I'm really stoned, and I'll get to that pretty quick. To do the hearing, the pretrial hearing. And went down there with my mom. It was at 8:30 in the morning, and it was right there in the middle of Denver, next to the catty corner to the courthouse, like the old courthouse with the giant pillars that are like as long as a car, as wide as a car is long, and it's pretty cool down there in Denver. Went up on the 5th floor and went in, and I didn't even like plead. They just, because they gave me a public defender at the beginning, because that's what I asked in the morning before I talked to anybody, and then somebody said I should just represent myself. So I like that idea, because then I get to talk in the quote room. I think I'll watch Erin Brockovich. Isn't that the movie where the lady represents herself? Try to be like Erin Brockovich. But I have to figure out the rules and the laws and stuff, so and the right stuff to do, because they had me switch over, I guess, relinquish him, but he said that he would, I could call him for advice and stuff, so I'll call him later on. And then they set a trial date on the September 10th at 12:30. With the jury of 12. So I think it's going to be, like the girl, there's this girl, I think she got busted actually on July 18th for driving to work. She works at a dispensary, 29-year-old girl from Indiana, and because she forgot to put tickets on her license plate. And she failed the sobriety test, and she tested at 19 nanograms, but they acquitted her because she's a medical user and has to stay high all the time because of the pain in her back from a car wreck. And so I'll just make it clear that I have to stay high all the time, so that I don't go crazy. And trying to finish my website, and then I'm drilled into my website. And I'm going to get because when I was in the courtroom, they were relinquished. And then we talked to the prosecutor, and I told the prosecutor that I had a video. I told because she was with a ranger, I guess the head ranger, and that I had a video on YouTube that's 5 years old of me saying that when I get nervous, my left leg shakes uncontrollably, and that's the only reason I failed the test. And I actually did have that video, and then I went to try to find it, but I deleted it because I said something incriminating about somebody, and so I lost that evidence. So it's kind of embarrassing. I also said that they didn't give me my insurance and registration back, and they did. I just had to look again. There was some failure to communicate with my roommate. So sorry about that, but then my mom said that I'm habituated, and I smoke all the time. I said, yeah, I got the hair follicle test, and it said that I got a 7.1 on the hair follicle, which is 70 times what you need to be to fail it for, like, I guess, the test, because it's positive or negative. And so I'm going to see if I can, I guess, subpoena or get somebody. I don't know how that works. Maybe, if you have to pay them. Go down there to, I guess you have to pay them how much? Yeah, to explain the hair follicle, and show like how much that corresponds to the blood. Because of my blood test, it came back and I was at 9.5 nanograms. So that was almost half of what that girl was. So that girl knows how to party. No, no, I hadn't smoked for like 3 hours. I was at Love Pass, but the maximum is 5 nanograms. So I was almost double of the legal amount. So if they follow the rules, the legal rules, then I was driving stoned. But that doesn't make sense because I'm habituated. I'm desensitized to it. I'm not stoned. Like right now, I'll explain to you what I did today. This morning, I didn't work today. I got up and I was just smoking on my hash pen all day, and I didn't feel myself doing it, but I was, for a couple hours, 2-3 hours or something, I was smoking on it as much as I could, but I kind of forgot. I wanted to smoke a lot, but my lungs can't really take too much. But I probably took like 40 hits, and then I rode my bike over to the place, the drug testing place, and I had them take the same exact drug test that they gave me that night. And I'm gonna come out higher now than when I took the test. So before I took the test, when I was out on the street, and maybe I should have even done the test before I left my house here, but I just had the idea to take the test right when they took the blood out. I did the balance test, the walk, the heel to toe, just how they told me. Hold your hands just to your side, look straight forward, heel to toe, counting 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, like 10 feet out, 10 series of small steps, turn around and come back. And so I did that, and then I steadied one foot up to 30. I did 30 seconds both foot, because that's what I saw the video of the girl who was let off at 19 nanograms, and her lawyer said that they usually have to do it for up to 30 seconds. So, but that was easy for me, and I was doing it on bike shoes too, which are smaller, harder to balance on. Then I had my blood taken out. It was 8 milliliters, the same exact amount that they did that night, and then I rode my bike home, and then I filmed myself do the test, the heel to toe, and then I smoked more weed, like 5 more hits and then I did a couple more hits in heel to toe, and then I did like 5 shatter hits out of the shatter bong with the torch, and then I did like 2 big hits out of my shatter pen, and that was pretty much all I could take in my lungs that were just burning. But in between the shatter pipe, the shatter bong, and the shatter pen, I did a heel to toe test, and then afterwards, so I did 3 heel to toe tests. And at the very end of the whole thing, after I smoked all of it, and I was just as high as I can get right now, if you come to a point, it's no use just continue smoking, because you just don't get higher, and your lungs just start to hurt, and then you get asthma. So, but my balance, I felt, was like better. I felt like my balance was getting better. I managed to do, the yoga, tree. I've never even done that for years. I think, and people say that, like, I'll include a video. Elliot House did a video saying, he's a weightlifter, popular YouTuber, says that, and he doesn't smoke weed at all. He doesn't like it, but he said he tried it once, a couple times, and when he lifts weights, he gets stronger because he's more relaxed. And that's kind of how I felt when I was standing. I was more relaxed. And I think I failed the test. I put my foot down because my leg was shaking, because I was just a combination of the day. I hadn't eaten since Breckenridge, since like 5, and I was nervous, and I get nervous and I shake. I also, I need to prove that I'm a habitual, so I'm going to get myself diagnosed with Aspergers, because when my mom and I came back from the hearing, she told me something that I never knew about myself. Over the last like 6 months or so, she's been telling me that she thinks I have Asperger's because I'm so obsessed with my website, and maybe I'm not like the best organized. I've been like, I get focused on one thing on the website forever, and I forget to at least make like a nice cover page, and and I have like temper tantrums with her and my brothers because I'm like, well, I'm stoned. I'm like really intense, like, and all by myself, like freaking out working on my website all the time. And that's not normal to do that. And I think that's related to Asperger's, because she said that the night that I was born, I was supposed to be born around the 7th of January, 1974, but that was a Christmas weekend that my dad's parents were coming to visit, and they wanted to have my birth to coincide with the Christmas weekend, and to be convenient for them, even though they only live like a 5-hour drive away. They live in Tyler and we lived in Austin, and so they pumped my mom full of Oxytin, which is called or Picotin, which is also called Oxytin, which is a drug that makes her diaphragm spasm, or makes her whatever muscle that is for her contractions spasm, to pop me out. And she said that there were a lot of babies in the hospital that day having that same thing done, like getting corralled to give birth at the same time, because that's what they did in those days. And but she was the last one in there, and everybody else had gone, and she'd been on it since 10 in the morning, and then they gave her a double dose at 5, and then all the way until I was born at 8:20. So I was on it for 10 hours. She was on it for 10 hours, and I was on it double dosage for 3.5 hours, and so I was born jacked up on Oxytin. And she said that I wasn't, I couldn't sleep through the night my entire first year, first year of my life, and I cried all the time, and she thinks it's because of that. And I don't remember anything in my life before like 4 years, and a lot of people remember their life. I have a really good memory, and I don't remember anything from before, like when we lived up in the mountains in Westlake Hills. We lived next to the Colorado River. That we moved when I was like 3, and I don't remember any of that. But I do remember having insomnia, and I remember having nightmares all the time where I would be like shooting at the speed of light through a tunnel that gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until I get squashed into nothing. And then I'd wake up and I'd feel like I was in Twilight Zone and have to get my parents to put me back to sleep. So anyway, so now I'm like really like I fit the profile of Asperger's. Asperger's people are solitary, super creative, awkward. You know, like I get awkward. I had an awkward encounter with somebody this morning I don't want to talk about, but kind of temperamental. They use, I guess, different vocabulary. Kind of misunderstood, and then like they get super focused on one thing, and they block the whole rest of the world out, and they're just into that one thing. And even if it doesn't have anything to do with anything else, like somebody would be interested in camera serial numbers or model numbers instead of actual photography, and I get interested in minute things like that as well. If you look at my website, I have a philosophy. You have to have a number to everything. Everything has to be numbered, and it has to also be color coded and coded with a font on my timeline anyway. And I have lists of everything, and I guess Asperger people have to make lists, and so that's all I do. That's all I've done for the last like 10 years. My wife left me 8 years ago. Yeah, since then all I do is I had a 5-month vacation in Europe bike touring, but since then, all I do is I work on my website. That's all I do. I don't hang out with anybody. And so when I hang out in my house, an Asperger, one thing about Asperger is it's documented that they like to smoke marijuana, and they're recommended to smoke marijuana by the psychiatrists because it calms them down and it can make them not feel so stressed out. And I get stressed out if I'm not high because I'm intense and focused on my website, and I always have to have like a goal to get done that day, or I think how much I think I can, and if I don't, then I get stressed. And so if I sit there too long, then I would get stressed, physically stressed from sitting there all day long, physically, the legs hurting, and then just everything. But if you're high, you can handle that, and you can actually work more. If you're high, you can work longer periods of time, because you don't like blow your top in terms of just, you know, sitting there and having to concentrate on something. It relaxes you basically, and I think because of the relaxation and probably other psycho effects, it actually helps me imagine more. I feel like I'm smarter. So Fox News did some story about how they thought it was killed brain cells, and so they went to some pot get together out there in Denver, and they interviewed some dude with the dreadlocks, and they're like, "Yo, what do you think about it? The study that said it kills brain cells." He said, "Well, no, there was a study where that said it generates brain cells, and I got to find that study. Generates brain cells, and I feel like it generates brain cells because I feel like it makes me smarter because when I get really high, that's when I do my best work on my website. Like when I'm looking at my website and I get confused. If you look at my timeline website, go to my website, kylepounds.com, click on the education page, and then click on the timeline page. It's my timeline introduction page. I just recently kind of put that together, and so I still need to like fix it up some. But before, a couple of days ago, it was a total mess, like just scattered information all over the place. And I put that together over the course of 2 or 3 days or something like that when I lived in Lafayette before it actually became legalized. So I don't think I was smoking totally a bunch of weed. And so I looked at it now and I was like, what? You know, it looked just crazy. And so I smoked a bunch of weed and I knew exactly what to do. And I just put together, I didn't even have to think. You know, there was no period of stressing like, no, I have to think. No, it was more like, oh, goody, now let's do it. And oh, no, now I have to do this. It was just a series of things that took a long period of time that I had to do. But it was the decision-making process just was natural. And so I feel like I'm just being guided by the marijuana to just make the website, you know, because all of a sudden I know everything. I have to do it all at once. And so it's kind of like the marijuana makes the Aspergers more. And I think that's what I read that people say is that the marijuana increases the strengths that the Aspergers gives people, because Aspergers people, I think Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg have been accused of having Aspergers, and but like super smart people can have Aspergers. Aspergers can like help you, you know, when you're super intense and into something, that can be good. But if you get burnt out in your head, it's like that burns you out. So, but if you smoke weed, you can get even more intense. It's like lubing the engine to the sports car. You know, your engine's gonna overheat, and then you have a headache. But if you pour the hemp oil in there, then you're like, oh yeah, let's do it, boom, and then you're just racing. And it's like that with cycling too. I mean, at sports, not just in my mind. When I got high, I got as high as I could, and I rode my bike out to Lafayette, and to ARC Laboratories, and then I got 8 milliliters of blood taken out, and then I rode my bike back. And on my ride back, I felt better than when I rode out. I was like high and I could breathe. I got a bad asthma attack on the way out there. And I love riding stoned, man. It doesn't screw your balance, and you can see it doesn't screw your balance at all. I don't know how they thought it would screw my balance. It's because I put my foot down. Marijuana doesn't do that. Marijuana. Yeah, I never made the connection. Nobody does. You have to have no marijuana smoking on the gondolas, I noticed, in Breckenridge. Why? Because people like to smoke marijuana when they ski, but now they don't want to make them stop it because they just want to fight against it. They have some myth that it'll make people ski into each other in trees or something. And people have always been smoking marijuana, not crashing. But they don't have signs that say no drinking alcohol, because people don't like to drink alcohol and go skiing. Nobody says, hey, let's drink alcohol and go skiing, you know? That's not what people do. That's not what I do. It's not what I've ever done. You know, I smoke the marijuana and I go biking and skiing and stuff. So, anyway, I decided to, I took the test, and I don't know. What do you think it is? Right below, and guess what do you think it is? I said how much I smoked. I smoked yesterday, you know. I mean, how much do I smoke a day? I was like a couple hundred hits a day or whatever. I smoked, I don't think I smoked tonight, but I usually smoke in the morning, like at 3 in the morning when I wake up. I have insomnia. Oh, and that's Asperger's too. I smoke, and then I go back to sleep, and then I smoke in the morning when I get up. That's what I did. And then I smoked throughout the morning today. I tried to remember to smoke, but I didn't smoke as much as I could have. I kind of forgot. It was kind of intermittent because I tried to do it a bunch of times, but the problem is I forget. I get high, and then I forget to smoke more because I'm high. But I do, and also my lungs. You know, I go, I gotta wait a little bit. But I smoked maybe 40. I smoked as much as I could, and And then I took the test. So, yeah. So, let me show you my website. Oh yeah, because for my defense, I'm going to, be transparent about my defense, about what I'm going to do and stuff. When I said that to the prosecuting attorney and the ranger, that she said all she cared about was the blood. So she's going to probably say all some sorts of scientific stuff about the blood. So I gotta like figure out like who came up with that test. I had the theory, the idea when I was riding my bike out there that they came up with the test because they got some like person who used to smoke or smoke intermittently or whatever. Because I think if you work for the government, you have to take a blood test. Kind of like if you work for Walmart, you got to take the blood test. If you work for the big man, you always got to take the marijuana test. And anyway, but they probably got one of those guys who was not desensitized. And so they took a couple of hits, and then they did a couple of laps around the parking lot of the government building, and we're like, wow, I feel high. And, they got the test, and it said 5, and they were like, wow, yeah, you don't want to get higher than that and drive, Dad. So they're like, yeah, let's put it at 5, yeah, official, huh, Or maybe they got 3 of those office nerds to like do it, and then they were all like, yes, we consensus. I'm going to find it on the government website, because if they don't have the reasons, a really good description of why they figured out that 5 nanograms, I'm going to use that for my case, because that's the kind of stuff that I'm interested in. If they don't have it, the reasons listed on their website in a clear and concise way, then I'm going to get them. I'm going to smack them, because I have a website because I can make it clear that if I was in charge, if I was Mr. President, if I was in charge of that agency, that I would have it up. It would be easy. You just, all the money they have, all the people they work for, I'd be like, you put that on the internet, right? Put the link. It'd take like a couple minutes. So anyway, I'm going to do it, because whatever I do, I try to set an example for how people should do. So, if I get convicted and have to go to prison, and then the next guy who does it, you can go off of my model and do what I did, and then you can study off what I did wrong, and then accentuate what I did right to get off, or you can just do what I did if I get off, or maybe they won't have to do it. See, because I had the idea that what we need to do is make it so that we need to put a marijuana sponsorship on the licenses, okay? So you can still do the blood tests for people. You just have to have a marijuana sponsorship so that you don't have to deal with having to bust people for smoking weed, when they're just driving stoned, when they're just in their natural state. So anyways, I have to go. I have the meeting with I'm going to get a marijuana medical license, because the ranger goes, are you medical or recreational? And I remember this girl got off, and I can't remember what nanograms they were, but because she was medical when she got arrested for DUI, driving a car in Olympic National Park in Washington, where it's legal. So anyways, I got to go, and catch you later. Bye-bye.